We're live now. Right now, we're live. Did you mean to do that? That sounded like an accident.
It did.
All right, well, we're live, whether we like it or not now. Welcome to Burnham Podcast. I'm your host, Danny Burnham. I don't know if we've done that part yet. We never talked about an intro. We mentioned that last night, and then we never hammered out how we were going to do it. This is the experimentation of live TV. Do we call it live TV?
I don't know.
Live streaming for sure.
Live streaming. Okay.
Yep.
So we're doing this live, and you guys are going to see our experimentation, trial and error play out in real time. But here we are nonetheless. I've got this is groundbreaking stuff. Not only are we live, we have two guests on tonight. If you go way back with the podcast, you've heard these guys before. Maybe you've never seen them, but you might be familiar with their voices. One of them was on very recently, Mr. Andrew Denmon. You were on, 4 or 5 episodes back?
I think so.
And then you'd been on a couple of times before that.
Well, it was one. We recorded one podcast, and then you split it.
We split it, right. Yeah. So tell us who you are.
I'm Andrew Denmon. I'm a paramedic. I'm a father and a husband, and I believe in Jesus Christ.
There you go. I've also got Mr. Kris Pyle.
That's me.
That's me. That's Chris's grand intro.
Yeah.
Is the camera weirding you out?
No, not really.
Okay.
No, the screen is weirding me out because it's a little
Seeing
laggy.
yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lag. We're watching ourselves on this monitor right now, and there's a little bit of a lag.
Seeing what I did 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, so you can move real fast and it pops up. But we're here tonight, and I gathered this crack crew of conversationalists because I knew these guys could go with the flow.
That's the plan.
Of whatever happened. So I'm going to throw you guys, at least Andrew, we're going to throw you under the bus right off the bat.
Okay.
You can patch your own boo-boos because you're a paramedic. We were talking off air 30 seconds ago about the C word.
Yeah, the C word.
What's the C word?
Man, the C word is Christian.
Okay.
And you don't like being called a Christian?
I don't like being called a Christian. Not that I mind being like Jesus, because that's what we should all strive for,
right,
as men of God. But throughout the New Testament, the word Christian, or in that time frame, was used as a derogatory term by people who weren't believers. You find folks who were of the way,
right.
they would call themselves believers.
The way is what they call it,
yeah. So I think that being faithful, or being the faithful, or being a believer, or being, the word that Jesus used was a disciple.
Right.
So I want to be a disciple of Jesus, or I'll say that I'm a believer.
That makes sense.
It does, but
I mean, if I want to be like Jesus, I want to use the word to describe myself that he used.
Right.
To describe.
But the word Christian literally means Christ.
Little Christ, yeah. I know.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's a bad word. I just don't like it to describe myself.
I don't like being called a Calvinist, but it happens.
I mean, if the shoe fits.
Yeah, and it does on all 5 points.
I've seen you post about it. People that don't like the word religion, right? Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. As, no, I don't have religion. I have a relationship with Jesus.
Oh, that's so cheesy.
That's religion, dude.
That's what it is. Yeah. And the Bible defines it. Like, pure and undefiled religion is this, that we care for orphans and widows, and But yeah, the whole relationship, not a religion.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you read the post, or did you just see the headline?
I just see it here and there.
Everybody just reads the headlines. Okay?
No, I read you read wrote an article. Yeah.
I
read that. I don't mean to interrupt, but I kind of feel like Ricky Bobby right now. I don't know what to do with my hands.
It takes a while. Like, it's hard enough to sit down and record. Like we talked about, talking into a microphone in a room all by yourself. It's super weird. It's easier when you have another person. But then you get the element of the camera and knowing that millions of people are going to see this.
Oh, that's fantastic.
When you think about
yeah.
Dozens of people are going to see this is what it really amounts to. But you get used to I don't know if you ever get used to the sound of your own voice. I'm not sure if that's worse than seeing yourself, because this is the first time I've had a monitor here where I can see myself. I always watch my episodes.
Right.
But we're watching it kind of in real time now. It's odd. But
it is strange to go back and listen to an episode, a conversation that you and I have had, because the voice that I hear in my head is very different than the voice the microphone picks up.
Yeah,
so the pitch is different, and the cadence seems different to me.
Right.
I always get very irritated because I'm like, I should have said this. I think about all the
Right.
things
Oh,
that I
man.
wanted to say and
Yeah.
didn't say. And I'm
And then I
like, we
think
could
about all
film
the
a
really
whole
cool
nother
things I could say.
Yeah.
we could film a whole nother episode on the things I thought to say after we got done recording.
That's true. I always come up with like easily an hour's worth of content as soon as we like cut at the end.
Yeah.
Man, I should have said these 29 things, but we don't. It's how our brain works.
We sat here for a half hour before the cameras and all that was working,
Yeah.
having some really
Really
good
good.
conversation.
Right.
And then as soon as you cut the camera on, we're like, I don't know what to
say.
talk about now.
Just clam up. And
We got the Christian thing out of the way.
what
Now
do you
we're kind of
guys want to talk
scratching.
about? So we'll throw a hot button subject out, and I don't know how up to speed you guys are on this. Chick-fil-A. Here we go.
They have great chicken.
Man, they have great chicken. They have the best service. They
They do.
just hired a director of, what is it called? Equity and Inclusion.
So I haven't been following this. I heard it, but I
Yeah.
haven't been following it.
Okay.
I think you're going to start seeing that job pop up everywhere. I don't think there's a whole lot we can do about it. But I'm going to tell you something. I've been going to Chick-fil-A for as long as there's been one in Rome, Georgia, which is easily 20-something years, 25 years. I've seen people of every race and religion and men and women, because there's only two genders.
Just there's two,
just
right?
two, right?
There we go. We're off of YouTube now. Thanks.
Demonetized.
We made it 5 minutes.
There we go.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Just telling the truth.
Just the two. I got you.
But they don't need that person. They don't need that job.
Well, that's my
Because
thought.
they are already doing that.
Right.
They don't discriminate that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
If you want to buy a chicken sandwich from them, they'll sell it to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you want to sell chicken sandwiches, they'll let you do that too.
Right.
So
Yeah. I don't know. I was kind of with you. It didn't make sense to me that.
Well, for me, there's way more positions in the corporate world that is useless than that one too. You know what I mean? I mean, anybody that's worked for a big, large corporate company, you kind of find out that the further to the top you get, which is the higher salaries and the easier jobs,
Right.
you need less of those people. But somehow there's a whole office full of them in there, and they all get to sit on their tail every day. And
they
all
think
that.
they're really important for the most part.
They think they're the bee's knees. You know,
Yeah.
without me, the company would go to shambles, and
Yeah.
they have no idea about what's really going on out on the floor or out in the field or whatever.
Never
So
bust a table in their
corporate,
life.
corporate America is it's sickening. It is. It's very sickening.
So you guys think this is just the way that it's going, and
I'm afraid that it is.
yeah,
I don't know. You know, the America that we grew up in, I don't think will ever exist again.
No, for sure, it's not
think
going
it's
to. The America we thought we were going to have when we were kids, thinking
Right.
about how the world was going to be
Yeah.
when we grew up,
Yeah.
that world's never going to exist.
right.
And it sucks. It sucks pretty bad because I mean it's going completely in the other direction, and it seems like it came out of nowhere. It really didn't. It
Right.
really didn't.
No, it's been a snowball.
Yeah, we like to act like it's coming out of nowhere on the world's just going to shambles all really, really quick. I'm like, no, if you'd have been paying attention, it's been pretty bad for a long time.
Or if you'd read the book, you can read the end of the book, and it pretty much tells us
yeah.
what we're going to run into.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it keeps getting worse and worse and worse till he comes back.
And all of
Yeah.
a sudden, it gets even worse after that.
Yeah, it's these people that try to
They know
pray
who to
Armageddon out of happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. There's people that will pray and think they can hasten the second coming, and then people that think they can pray and extend the time that we have here, and we could just go with God's plan, right? And then that's better than anything we could think of.
Do the
anyway.
best we can until he gets
Yeah,
back,
yeah.
and yeah.
I'm a fan of that option.
I saw somebody brought to my attention earlier today. There was a book. I don't know if you guys remember this. It was 88 Reasons Jesus is Coming Back in 1988.
I do remember that book.
It went into the bargain bin on July 1 or January 1, 1989.
Yeah.
But you know, no man knows the day, right? So
That's what it says.
We can point to things and go, well, that's what part of in the Bible. And like I always tell people, America's not in the Bible. Like it just isn't. And the president's not, and this person's not. So
we can look at the
us
story
and
of
say, based on what's going on here, we can tell how far the end is. Well, we can't. People 2,000 years ago thought they were at the end too. But we
Most of
look
the time, when people get very convinced they have it figured out, it's a cult.
What?
You know what I mean? There's always this guy, so I got it figured out, and then it don't happen, and
Here,
he
drink
has
this
to fool
Kool-Aid.
him again. You know, there's that guy.
Boy, and those guys all die rich too, right?
Yeah.
It's like, if you got it all figured out, I'll come to your church. And you know what? In my church, to keep things going, you got to put money to the plate.
That's right.
And the more people I get, the more money we get. And then, you know, if this thing pops off and ends tomorrow, why don't you guys go ahead and bring your bass boat over to my house?
Right.
And I'll watch it for you. And then if things don't go, then you'll never see me again. But, yeah,
Maybe we should be more like Noah.
how so?
Okay.
I mean, I think I see where you're going. But
So what was Noah doing the whole time the world was falling apart around him?
Noah was the first prepper, right?
Well, he was the first prepper, which is awesome that you brought that up. But he was working, man.
Yeah.
He was doing what God told him to do.
Yeah,
He was building the ark to prepare for the flood.
right.
Because God said, hey, Noah, a flood's coming, and I need you to build this boat to be ready for it.
Right.
So Noah's like, all right, God, I'll build the boat. I think it's crazy, but I'll build the boat.
I mean, yeah, I would like to think that I wouldn't have thought it was crazy, but I think I'd have thought it was crazy.
I'm pretty sure you would have thought
Yeah.
it, just like I would think it's crazy.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, well, I think when we read the Bible, we think it happens like so quick. You know what I mean? It's like, well, he
Right.
built this boat. It took
a long time to build the boat.
Stinking time.
Years. Took
So this
100
dude
years.
became probably local folklore
Talk of the town,
some
for sure.
some crazy guy that's building this
You see the loon
huge.
out there building the boat?
What's the size of like 3 Walmarts out
Right.
there in the middle of the field, and he's building this
In
boat
the middle of a field.
by himself, or
Yeah,
however he did it, you know. And
I think
he
his
got
sons
it
helped,
done.
Had to.
but yeah.
And at the end, they're all like, "Let me ride on the boat." He's like, "Nope,
No.
Oh man.
Uh,
But
yeah.
yeah, but
not happening."
to your point though, I think that the right idea is to work and
Let's just do it. Do what we
Until-
got. Noah wasn't judging anybody.
yeah,
Noah, he was just, look, God gave me this plan. He said, build the boat like this. I'm going to
Yeah.
build the boat like that. And he was just doing his thing, doing what God told him to.
yeah. But I think people throw their hands up and they go, and it gets on my nerves. You see it on social media when something happens. Everybody goes prophecy and biblical, and they're like, "Well, that's the end. Let's throw our hands up and just ride it out." Well, like, no, that's not what we're supposed to do at all.
think what
Every
would happen-
political figure nobody like or people don't like happens to be the Antichrist, like every
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Everybody's the Antichrist.
You know, it was what was it, Obama, and then it was Trump. It's like whoever
Obama's Trump,
somebody
it was-
don't like, yeah, they're the
Yeah, it was
Antichrist. They throw
Hitler,
that
it
out
was
there pretty
Mussolini,
quick.
and, you know, yeah, everybody's the everybody don't like.
Hitler and Mussolini kind of were evil.
I mean, they
Incarnate.
were, but there's a guy that lives in the other Rome who's actually the Antichrist, and we don't want to talk about that.
Do you wear a pointy hat?
He wears a pointy hat.
Gotcha.
You know what the Pope guy?
Wow, what? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you had to point to somebody and say that's him, like that's it. We got a false gospel going on.
Am I remembering this correctly? It says, you know, he'll deceive many people.
Yeah.
Well, the Pope ain't fooling me. So whether I'm
Yeah, but
some
he's fooling
highly
many
enlightened,
people.
I'm rather some highly enlightened individual, which I'm very doubtful,
Well,
or I don't know. I just feel like the true Antichrist is going to be a little more wily.
here's one for you. Oh, wow, they've been setting this thing up for thousands of years.
Yeah.
though. Here's one for you. When you think about whether or not you're enlightened or not, or how wise or discerning we might be, it ain't us, right? I don't know anything.
I'm not
It's
discerning at all, but
The
it's the
Holy Spirit
Yeah.
working in us that you have,
Yeah.
and He doesn't. So, surprise, you know more than He does.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
not because you know, whatever. You're not like special. You just have the Holy Spirit working in you. And
I don't know. I feel
revealing
pretty
things to you.
special. Jesus died on the cross for me.
I mean, it's a special thing. You know,
It is.
He didn't. You know, not everybody understands that. But yeah, put that on and walk around in it for a little while. You're enlightened. Congratulations.
Oh wow, cool! I am now a part of something.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's neat to think about it that way. And when I've discovered when I preach, and I know when I'm like really in tune, and I've studied and I've prayed, and I'm on top of what I'm supposed to be saying, because something comes out of my mouth that I didn't think of. And it's like I'm standing, I don't want to say it's an out of body experience, but I feel like I'm standing beside myself, listening to myself talk. And I think, man, that was good. Like, that's not in my notes anywhere. I didn't think of
Right.
that. But I guess that's the Holy Spirit moving and inspiring us to do and say things.
Well, my pastor often asks us to pray for him as he's preparing for sermon.
Of
And one of the things he says is, ask God to move me out of the way so that you can hear the message that he's got for you.
Right.
And literally that's what you're experiencing is God moving you out of the way,
Yeah.
so that you can say what He's got for somebody to hear.
Right.
And it might not, like you said, you didn't prepare that,
Yeah.
but He needed you to say that for somebody.
Now, you guys go to the same church, right? You not
I
go
don't
to
think we do
West Rome?
anymore.
I thought you did. Why do I think you went to West Rome?
No,
You
I
don't
used to
go
go
to
to
West
West
Rome.
Rome
Maybe
back in
that's
the
what it
day.
was.
That's where I knew him from.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
yeah.
where I started my journey at. Was
got
West
you.
Rome, XL, all that stuff.
XL.
Had some good times at Excel.
Did
That was,
you go to XL too?
Yeah.
I went just a
was
handful of
wild.
times. I wonder, where's Jared Roberts at? We got to talk. We
He's
gotta
at West
get
Rome.
Jared on.
He just had surgery.
Did he?
I don't want to tell all his business, but yeah, he had surgery today.
Okay. He lives next door to my in-laws,
He does.
so I see him
Yep.
periodically out, and he's got the best yard.
He is.
Jared has. The
He's for
best
serious
yard
about that
in
yard.
He really, he's out there all the time. I got him not too long ago. He's outside doing whatever. It's a Sunday afternoon. We went over to see the in-laws, take the kids over there, and I said, "Hey, man, Pastor, is your ox in a ditch?" And he was like, "It will be tomorrow if I don't get this done today." So okay, we'll let it slide. I still didn't offer to help or anything, but he was out there, doing what he
Well, then
does.
you would have been violating the Sabbath.
Right, yeah.
you know.
I wasn't going down with him.
Right.
I was supposed to have Jared on a couple weeks ago, and it didn't work out. But I need to get him on. I think
Yeah.
it'd be a pretty fantastic.
He's
episode.
a good teacher, so
Yeah,
I'm sure you'd have a good
yeah.
time with him.
He's a good. He went out of his way to take care of us when we lost Joseph and opened the church up for us to have
Yep.
our funeral there and all that good stuff. And yeah, no, Jared's a great guy. So I'm trying to put you on the spot here. You don't go to West Rome.
Mm-hmm.
Are you still going to Joey's church?
Yeah, I was. I haven't been in the last couple of weeks.
I got you. I just had a brain fart. I knew where you had been going to church and pretty consistently, and I didn't want to be like, "So where are you going to church?" And you'd be like, "Well, I don't go to church." But so it's Church at Rome is the name I was trying to think of.
Yeah. They just moved.
Yeah.
And all this started happening when I changed jobs and she changed jobs and things. So we really haven't been a part of that whole process
Right.
of everything. And they just had their first service out there.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
things just hasn't lined up for
It's
us to go
exciting
back.
for them.
And this weekend we'll be out of town again. So,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
So Joey, you heard that. I know Joey watches. So you know why Kris won't be there this week. He'll be out of town.
yeah,
But the week after,
I should be back.
should
be back around.
We'll be back. He'll be there. He'll be there. I don't know. So what? You guys have both been on before, and what did you? I don't know. We talked about a bunch of stuff. I don't remember specifically. Yours is more recent, I guess, than Chris's. But what have you been doing like since then? What's changed for you?
I got out of a truck. I was driving no truck for a while. Went
Yeah.
back to an automotive machine shop. Still planning to go back to school and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So it's a good place to just lay low and make a plan. But other than that, same old,
What are you
same
going to school
old.
for?
I want to go for X-ray tech.
Oh,
That's what I
okay.
want to go for.
Cool. We got that here in Rome, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to like travel super far to do that.
2 hospitals and
Oh yeah, you
nationally known medical clinic system.
you
Yeah.
find
Yeah.
a job. That'd be easy.
Yeah.
But that's cool. I'm glad
think
you got out of the
that-
truck. I know
yeah.
we're not super enjoying that.
It's not good for you. It's really not good for you, especially if you're trying to lose weight and stuff.
It's the worst. I drove a truck for 2 years, almost 2 years, and I gained about 40 pounds.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
not
it
good
was
for you.
just soft drinks and donuts
Yeah.
all day long. And then you just sit on it for hours and hours and hours.
It was an adjustment getting out of the truck, going back to a machine shop.
Yeah.
I'm on my feet all day
Standing on
long.
it all
Right.
day.
Oh yeah, first several weeks it
Low
was
back's
pretty tough.
killing you.
Yeah, I get off work and just go home. I hurt my back and had to go to the chiropractor 2 or 3 times a week there for a few weeks, and it was just a big process of adjustment.
You'd been at the machine shop before, though, right?
Oh yeah, I left there about 10 or 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'd worked there a little bit over 8 years.
Our last guest was a machinist also. Come to think of it. His episode, Shane Clements, it won't be out for 2 more weeks, the 18th, whenever you're listening to this. If you listen to this 5 years from now, that won't matter. But I forget, I don't know if he even said what the name of the machine shop was. But that's what he does. He's a machinist. And you've also changed jobs, right?
I changed employers.
Employers, right? You're still in the same
I'm
field.
hoping to change jobs and just like Kris, I've got education possibilities coming up and
Yeah.
maybe some side hustle we're going to start building on.
You
So
want to talk about the side
I don't want to talk about the side hustle just yet.
Okay.
When we get the side hustle set up, then we'll come and talk about it.
We were talking about side hustle
Yeah.
just before we came on. I like that. I think it's a good idea.
I hope so. I hope it works well.
There's got to be, and this just hit me, there's got to be some kind of biblical name for it. Without, we're going to try to drag this out of you.
Are we going to keep this all like vague?
I don't know.
Like, they don't get to know. I don't get to know. I have no idea what we're talking about either.
We're putting your
They're just
spot
sitting
now.
here having a very vague conversation.
So
It's one of those things where you don't want somebody else to find out what you're planning on doing and
I
then
got
snatch your idea out from underneath you.
Yeah.
You know, I know you wouldn't do that, and
That's
I'll be
true.
happy to tell you about it, Chris. I just don't
Not
wanna-
on air.
All
Not on
fair.
there, yeah.
All fair. Yeah, I got you.
That's the teaser. That's what's going to get them
Yep.
coming back for the next episode.
For the next episode.
Trying to find
What's
out what
Andrew
that
doing?
business is going to be.
Too.
Yep.
So you got, but outside of your dream job that you've been doing forever and ever, and then this side hustle you're working on,
You mean the job that kills me a little bit every day?
but you're saving other people a little bit every day too.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Most
Keeping them alive till we get them to the hospital
some
anyway.
win some, lose some. That's terrible. You're involved in some men's ministry.
Yeah, and actually, this month is Men's Mental Health Month,
No kidding.
if you didn't know that.
I had no idea.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about how people steal the rainbow, but
Bless us.
we can talk about men's mental health this month. And that's one of the big things, parts of men's ministry that I'm a part of. We had a friend of mine who's a physician in Cartersville. He had a big gathering on a Sunday before Memorial Day, and he announced that he's going to, it's specifically geared toward men. We're going to watch Braveheart on his front yard on a big screen. But we've been working through this book called Wild at Heart. It's by John Eldridge.
I've got that. I've never read it.
Dude, you need to read it. It's a really good. It's a good story about men and the gospel and how we should be strong and we should be maybe able to hurt somebody, but not. That's not our first line of action.
Right.
Jordan Peterson talks about that. He said,
Yeah.
Be dangerous,
you
but
can be-
controlled.
Yes,
Be a
have it under
monster.
control.
Yeah.
Absolutely be a monster. So that's what we're trying to do is get men back to being men and being leaders in our household and leaders in the church. And then once you start having those things put together, men start getting back in leadership positions in our communities. And I, we said early on in the stream that we're not ever going to get back to the America we once knew, but who knows what God will do.
Well, we still got to try, right?
Right.
We still have to
It's
work.
our responsibility to do what we're
We can't just throw our hands.
right. So we got to be Noah.
Yeah.
We got to work at it.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things he's leading us. I'm just really proud of what's going on. David Bryant's a friend of mine at West Rome Baptist Church, and he kind of is leading the Bible study side and the discipleship side.
Right.
And we're just doing some other reaching outside the box, trying to get guys to say, hey, look, you should be dangerous.
Yeah.
You should be scary dangerous.
Yeah.
But you should also have that completely under control,
Right.
or let God control it within you.
You should be able
Right.
to. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, and
I mean-
not just like fighting, whatever, being dangerous, but we ought to be skilled too.
Yes.
I ought to know how to do things. Chris, you ever worked on a car before?
Yeah, a little
Once or
bit.
twice?
I might have worked on one last week.
There you go. But yeah, we're supposed to know how to do those things. But what we've been up against in recent history is people going, well, that's toxic. Masculinity is toxic, and some people try to draw a line between masculinity and toxic masculinity. But then there are people that will come and just erase that line and just say that masculinity in and of itself is toxic.
What's
So-
really toxic is for a man to not be a man, to be emasculated. That's what makes men really violent.
Most of the people that use the term toxic masculinity are women that men don't want nothing to do with anyway.
Right.
And it's a label we're going to throw out there to
good
try to
thing we're
take a
already
jab
married,
at
isn't
them.
it?
You know what I mean?
Well, we see a lot of families that have same-sex parents.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nothing against women. Women are not men.
Right.
And they're not built, they're not designed, they don't have the knowledge of what it is to be a man.
Right.
So it's really hard for them to teach boys how to be men.
Yeah.
And I think, dude, I'm sorry if I'm going to get you unmonetized. I'm in the mood tonight.
We got Rumble. We'll be okay.
Okay. But it really, boys need to watch men so they'll know what to grow into.
Yeah,
They need good men. And I hope that my son has. I know he's got good mentors in you and in PJ and guys who are leading him and Anthony Dillard. You know, bringing him along and showing him the way to be, not just at home and not just at church, but in jiu-jitsu as well, so that he has the opportunity to be all the things that he needs to be. So
Riley's a solid dude. He's going to be okay.
I think so. I'm trying really hard.
He's got decent parents, you know.
Well, his mom does a good job.
Yeah. But then on the other side of the same coin, we're both girl dads, right? So then we got to go, well, you know, be a girl. Like, it's okay to be a girl too and not have to try to do both things.
Yeah, I feel like having. I wanted a daughter. I did not want to deal with the little boy mess.
Oh man.
And but it's taught me a lot of patience.
Yeah.
A whole lot of patience.
Girls different, aren't they?
Girls are different. Girls are very. I wouldn't trade her for anything.
Oh man, yeah.
But yeah, it's a completely different ball game. Like you're not so much dealing with a dirty, rowdy little boy. You're dealing with a mental grenade that could go off at any minute if you say or do the wrong thing.
Right.
Mine's name is Ayla. I got one of those little grenades. Bless her heart. But Ayla's to the point. You know, she's 15, and she says her jiu-jitsu coach tells her the same thing. So you are the weakest and the toughest person I know, right? Because she'll just beast through, like her shoulder dislocates sometimes, and she just beasts through it, right? But then there's just days when she doesn't know why she's crying.
Yeah.
See, I completely see Mel Gibson, but with Ayla's face on him,
Yeah.
and just slamming it back in the wall, pop it back in.
Ugh.
That's an old movie reference.
But they're different. It's on how old you are. You're way older than the rest of us. But it's a different animal though. The girl and the boy, and I've got both, so I kind of see both sides. But
And you're right. There's nothing wrong with being a girl if you're a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're trying to. There's the feminism movement has tried to erase that. It seems like you have to be strong and chop wood or whatever, do things that we think of. We're gone right here. They're kicking us straight off of YouTube.
I think this is where I can go Alex Jones mode though.
We could
and be like, I feel like that's part of the plan. You know what I mean? It's to demasculate people. I mean, people are a whole lot easier to control if they can't fight back and they're not conditioned to fight back and
right
and whatnot. And what we're seeing is the absence of people having fathers is turning men into what it's turning men into now, because you got a whole generation of men that's been raised by women, and women are awesome. I was raised by a single mom too,
right?
And there's a lot of them that do a lot of good jobs, but there's some things you can only learn from another man.
Yeah.
And some of these people, like I had a stepdad here and there that came in and would teach me some stuff. There's some of these kids growing up that never had a male in the house,
Right.
Other than whatever was in and out with mama doing whatever mama was doing.
Yeah.
And that just messes them up even more. So now we got a bunch of men that don't know anything about being men.
Yeah.
You've seen the little funny memes of the guy sitting in the car while his girlfriend's pumping gas. Like, that's normal. That's okay.
Yeah.
No, it's not okay.
I don't let my wife pump gas if we're together. You know what I mean?
Now,
Like,
I'm going to complain about her not having pumped gas before I got in the car.
Yeah, but I'm going to pump the
But
gas.
I'm going to get out and pump the gas when I
Yeah.
get to the station.
Yeah.
And there's no, the masculinity, it's kind of a thing of the past now.
Seems that way,
What's
doesn't
going
it?
to happen in 20 years when there's nobody to pave the roads?
man.
Or
I'm
build
going to tell you what's
buildings
happening.
anymore?
It's a cycle. Hard times make hard men.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hard men make easy times, and easy times make soft men.
Yeah.
So
Me and
soft
Jessica were
men
talking about this
make
last night.
hard times. So it'll come back around. Masculinity will. It's just gonna.
See, here's the downside though, is that by the time these things come back around, we'll all be old, right?
We're gone.
No, I'm already old.
Yeah.
You just
No,
said that.
I'm just saying.
I
So
feel like we'll be gone before masculinity comes back.
I know that's what I mean. Like it's going to get harder as we get older, right? I wish
you look-
that easy times were when I was 80,
When-
and not
when
when
were the
I'm
last-
like
But
Yeah,
we're
younger.
already
times
going to be
in this
old.
country.
You know what I mean? It's not, the times aren't building us anymore. We're already
Right,
who we are.
yeah.
We'll just deal with the times. But I think it's whoever's maturing in the current times, they're the ones that's being molded by
I
the
don't want to
time.
be in the nursing home when it's the hardest of hard times and the softest of softest people. I want somebody to take care of me, but
That's probably what's going to happen, though.
I'm sure it's what's going to happen.
Wait, you're planning on going to a nursing home?
I mean,
I'm going to wear this thing out.
it may not be up to me at the end of the day. I'm
Right.
41 years older than my youngest kid, so who knows?
You did that to yourself.
I did. It's all my fault. But
He was, yeah.
I love you. But,
yeah, no, I know. I did it to myself. I have only myself to blame. Thanks for pointing that out again. No, man, I waited. I didn't have, I got married when I was 33, and Ayla was 4 when I got her. So, like, I missed out on the first 3.5 years of her life altogether. But then we had Joseph when I was 34, and then I was 41 when I had Flint, and 43 when I had, I'm 43 years older than my youngest son. But I say all that to say I wasn't ready before that.
Neither was I.
I wasn't.
We had Riley when I was 33 or 4, about that same time.
Yeah.
I'm just a year older than you are,
Yeah.
So.
I didn't get married, and I wasn't ready 1 minute sooner to get married.
Right.
Before 33, and I wasn't ready 1 minute sooner to be a dad. And then of multiple kids, I guess I wasn't ready until even later. Now, it's harder. It's way harder at 43 than it was at 33, and they get up in the middle of the night, and our youngest was up, I don't know, between 3 and 5, not like off and on, like we were up from 3 to 5 this morning. So, it gets old when you gets old. It gets hard when you get old. It gets old too.
That's why I don't understand how people have multiple kids. Like, God bless you.
Man.
I'm happy you're happy.
Yeah.
But we had Giada, and that first year was something else. Getting out of the bed, working 12-hour shifts off 2 hours of sleep. And that 2 hours was sprinkled throughout the night.
Right, not 2 consecutive hours.
And I just can't see getting at the end of that and going, you know what, I want to do this couple
Well, it
more
wasn't
times.
planned. It wasn't. There are no accidents. They were surprises. But
Happy accident.
Happy accident.
Living in a Bob Ross baby.
Yeah, we'll call it a Bob
Ross babies.
Yeah. But no, it was not planned. But I wouldn't trade it for anything, obviously. But it's harder when you get older.
I wouldn't trade her for anything either.
Yeah.
But at the end of that year, I was like, this ain't happening ever again.
Shut that down.
I'm shutting this down.
So you're a couple years younger than me. How Jada's 10?
Yeah, I'm 43.
Okay. So yeah, I got you. 33, mid-30. I always tell people, wait till you're ready to have kids. Be ready before you're 40.
Yeah, for sure. There are a couple of
thing.
guys I went to high school with who had kids between 40 and 42.
Yeah.
And they're going to be old teaching their kids to drive.
Oh, man.
60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be me.
It could be worse. You could be Al Pacino at 84 years old getting his girlfriend pregnant.
That ain't going to happen to me. I'm just not going to have a girlfriend at 84. I'm not going to have a girlfriend at 84. That's how we're going to avoid that. Because Jessica will kill me if I'm not already gone by then. Yeah, just hang on to the one. I can't even imagine. 84. What do you do? I mean, I guess if you're Al Pacino, you pay people.
How old
right?
did you say she was?
He's 84.
And
How old's the
she's
girlfriend?
how old?
I do not know how young his girlfriend.
I feel like you're going to give me some kind of crazy low number.
Probably.
Where you at on that,
Pacino.
Tango? See if it's a curiosity at this point. I'm not sure if it's fruitful or not, but let's find out.
It's not fruitful. Because we're going to judge him if we go there.
I
That's totally what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on him to go ahead and judge him.
I just want to judge Al Pacino.
Oh,
Because
man.
She's 29.
See?
I was shooting for
Judgment
26.
needed.
Yeah.
Use your judgment there.
But she's a grown woman.
Oh, yeah, she's
You know, she
grown.
knows what
It's
she's
still
doing.
gross. I don't care. It's
Al Pacino.
It's completely within their rights to live how they want to live. That's cool. That's their business. America. Still gross.
Right.
Just for the energy level, though. Like, what are we talking
What
about?
do they talk about? He
What-
was born during
What
the
do you have in
Depression,
common?
and she was born during spring break.
They weren't talking.
Oh,
They weren't talking.
Well, I mean, they had to have a conversation at some point. That pregnancy conversation.
I mean, I guess so. I don't know. This is, I guess, a lesson in discretion or discernment
indiscretion.
or indiscretion, as it were. Man, listen, just the one wife, like that's it. It's what you need.
Yeah, for sure.
Just go with that. Find the right one. It's not always how it goes, But man,
Let me retract that. It's actually 55. His previous girlfriend was 29.
Okay.
Wait, so
he got a
This one's
55?
55.
the pregnant one is 55?
Yes.
Wow.
That's
And he's
still
80 something.
83.
That kid's probably gonna have
28
some. I don't
years
want.
difference
I don't
between-
wish
You'll be
ill
94
on
years
nobody,
old when
but they
he's
might
10.
have some issues there.
they might. It gets tougher as you get older. Like with defects, and do we still call them defects? Maybe I shouldn't say
I
that.
don't know what the PC
I
term
don't know
is.
either. What do you? Wow. I mean, I don't know. We talk about that, and of course, Sarah was just as old as Abraham. They were 100 years old.
I don't think it's the same.
No,
They use
Same
a different
story with Al
calendar.
Pacino.
it's a different calendar. Is that what it was? It was a different calendar.
A different calendar.
Oh man, yeah.
I'm just saying maybe they weren't 110 years old like we count years today, but still they were old. But I don't think it's anything like Al Pacino. That's trouble.
I can't imagine. I mean, he's twice as old as us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm out. I don't need that. I don't need that.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna opt out and not have any more kids in my 80s. I'm just gonna go ahead and pass on that. If I have, maybe I'm rich by then, and I'll leave money to some young people who can raise their own kids.
So
But,
you have more kids than my one,
yeah.
and Chris is one. Chris only wanted.
I have
just
a
one.
stepdaughter. But
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted more, and God didn't bless us with more.
Yeah.
But I've got 3 siblings, and they're all raging liberals, and none of them talk to me. So
No danger in them watching this.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
They might. They might.
And
Thanksgiving's
then
gonna be great.
I've got a sister who's a year and a half younger than me, and I haven't talked to her in a decade or more. Just because she asked me to do some things that went against what I believe in, and I wouldn't do them. And now she won't talk to me anymore.
So, would you be open?
To talking to her?
Yeah.
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 If my phone rang right now and it was her, I'd walk out of the room and take the call.
Yeah. You'd
I
have.
love
I would
her.
expect you to.
She's my sister.
Yeah.
We have the same genes. We have the same parents. She's my sister.
Right.
And I would absolutely do anything I could for her within what I feel is safe for my family.
Right.
But I'm not gonna put my family in danger or my livelihood in danger to do something that I don't think is right for my family.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, and she shouldn't ask you to do anything like that, but we're not always all on the straight and narrow
Right.
either.
And that's not to say that I'm perfect by any stretch, but
Right.
I had to evaluate what she was asking me to do based on what, like I said, what's best for my clan.
Yeah.
Just
That's tough,
couldn't
though,
happen.
man. That's a tough. I don't know. To just not have a relationship with siblings.
It
Yeah,
is.
you have any
It's hard.
siblings?
The rest of us are still wanting to know what she asking to do. It's another one of them vague
I know he's
conversations.
throwing this
And
shit
we're like,
out.
okay, now
She
we
met
wanna-
this guy from
I don't.
Colombia.
You don't have to tell us.
No, I'll tell you.
don't
She
have
met this
to.
guy from Colombia, and in order for him to get a green card and become a naturalized citizen, he has to have a sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all know how that process works, but you're as a sponsor, you're like personally responsible for them. If they get in legal trouble, it's on you.
Yeah, you
in
kind of. You
financial
need to know
trouble.
them. You need to know them.
And
Yeah.
I'd never met the dude. I didn't know
Yeah.
anything about him. And I was like, look, I just don't feel comfortable doing that because I don't know anything about this guy.
Right.
She's like, well, he's my boyfriend. I'm like, okay, I get that, but I don't know anything about him. So that my answer is no.
Yeah.
I said, if you want to introduce me to him, let me get to know him. I can reconsider, but right now, as things sit, the answer is no. And she's like, well,
So, what is the way back? I mean, what do you think has to happen there for you guys
don't
to
know.
rebuild a relationship?
The door is open
Yeah.
on this end,
Right.
and I know that cell phones work both ways,
Right.
but
That was my next point.
I didn't cut off the communications,
Yeah.
and she has a daughter who's my niece comes back to Georgia from Washington State every summer and visits, and we talk to her and spend time with her
Yeah.
when we get the opportunity. So we're already planning that for this year, but all she's got to do is pick up the phone.
I got you. If you're watching this, pick up the phone. He'll answer.
Aubrey, I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
And maybe we can work things out.
Maybe so. But you have more than one sibling.
I do. I have 2 more siblings.
So it's 4 of you guys total.
Right.
Okay. There's 4 of us. I got 3
Yeah.
other brothers.
I have a brother who's 3.5 years younger than me, he'll talk to me,
Yeah.
but he's very opinionated, and
Right.
our opinions don't usually coincide.
Yeah.
And
I
then
gotcha.
I've got a younger sister. She's 12 years younger than me, and she was a Bob Ross baby for sure.
Okay.
A happy accident,
Yeah.
and she balanced our family, and she and I are really close for most of her life. But she made some decisions, and I didn't agree with, and we extended Olive Branch and had her living in our house at one point in time.
Right.
Some things she had her girlfriend, or her girlfriend invited herself over, and nobody told me that there was some strange female in my house. And then when I said something about it, the girl broke up with my sister, and I was like, well, look, if that's the way she's going to treat you, when I ask you to tell me she's in my house and who she is, then maybe you don't need to be involved with her anyway. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's,
that's a tough
having
deal,
siblings can be tough,
It can be tough.
but also not having siblings can be tough.
It can be. Yeah. I don't know. I can't imagine. I got 3 brothers, and we get mad at each other and whatever. Always have. But I can't imagine just not having a relationship with one or more of them. I don't know. Has there ever been a time in your life when you had to repair a major relationship?
Oh yeah. I've lost a sister and a brother, and I have another sister we haven't seen each other since we buried our mom. So that was like 14, 15 years ago. Wow. But we've had a couple conversations, and we're supposed to be seeing each other soon. But for like the last year, my brother was alive. We didn't talk. My brother was very opinionated about things, and his way was the way. And I had finally just kind of had enough of it. And there was a situation that I didn't feel like I needed to ask his permission for, and and he did. So we ended up not talking for like a year. And then I heard he got sick and everything, and I had Giada. And Giada was just a couple months old, and went and saw him and patched things up about 2 or 3 weeks before he died.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's good that you had that time with him and were able to patch things up.
I know that it's hard to not have a sibling living where you can communicate with them. It's tough when they're still alive and you can't talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the one sister, we've chatted here and there, and we've talked about seeing each other again. So it's in the plans. I got another sister I haven't seen but like once in my whole life, and I have no idea where she's at.
That's tough.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember seeing her once, and I was around 12. She was raised by her dad.
Okay.
So, and I guess they were still around here up until around 92, and then they took off.
Wow.
And I don't have enough information on her to track her down. So I have not. Hey, maybe she'll see something.
If you're out there and you're Kris Pyle's sister.
Yeah, and your name's Jessie. That's all I really know about her.
Wow.
Jessie Carroll. And,
Jessie Carroll.
That's about all I know about that.
That's tough.
It'd be really cool to find that one.
Yeah,
Maybe like
for
Dr. Phil
sure.
Show or something.
I know. We'll bring her on. If you can track her down, you can.
Can't have Jerry Springer show anymore.
Can't
No more
that.
Jerry. Well, we would not have been Jerry Springer anyway.
No.
I don't know that we could be Dr. Phil, but I mean, it'd be cool. Yeah, I don't do that on a podcast. Have your own conversation.
It'll bring it down.
I
here
know,
That would
just
be quite the conversation.
make it super awkward.
so high.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know you at all.
I don't
but-
know you at all, but let's let a bunch of people. Let's let couples and couples of people hear our conversation.
Couples and couples, all 11 people that are watching. But yeah, I don't know. It would be cool. It's lousy that you have this sister that you've never had a relationship with, but it would be super cool to establish that at any point.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine that. I've never had that situation in my life where I just
Right.
had a sibling that I didn't know or didn't talk to. But
And I grew up. I mean, we were all the first 3 of us were pretty close.
yeah,
So we grew up in a mill village over in Celanese, and those houses, they weren't really big. So we were right on top of each other. So we really grew up close together, but we've just gone some way separate ways
yeah.
as we grew older.
Well, you grow apart some just because you get married
Right.
at different times and you have kids and maybe your job takes you to a different place and you don't live in the same town. Maybe you're just super busy and you don't have time, to get together or don't make the time to get together like you should. And that's one thing altogether, but just to not have a relationship at all,
Right.
that's tough.
It
but
is.
I think it's easy for me to say because I'm not the one in that situation, but I mean, we got to try, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You have to make an effort when you can. I think sometimes on the flip side of that, though, if your efforts are not going to be received well and it's going to do more damage, then you just have to let it ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. And wait, wait it out.
Right. Look for different opportunities and.
Again,
Yeah.
I love all four of my siblings, or all three of my siblings, and my parents. So there's the fourth.
Yeah.
But I've really, you just have to do the best we can with what we got.
Yeah, for sure. And you would just hope to never be in that situation, but if you are, then, love, I guess, is the answer.
It
right?
is. Love is the answer.
As cheesy as that sounds, that's the
love is all
truth.
we need in that situation.
But it's got to work both ways.
It does.
Yeah.
Everybody has to be willing to forgive and just try again.
Yeah. Oh, that's tough. Like we think about forgiveness, like what forgiveness really is, and how hard that is. And never, your situations are one thing, but any time you're thinking about forgiving somebody, right? That's like you end up saying, "I'm okay with how you wronged me. Like I've gotten past that." And do we ever really get past it? And if we don't really get past it, is that really forgiveness?
Because the scar's still there,
The what?
The scar.
Oh yeah. Like you said, his car was
the
still
evidence.
there. Like,
the evidence of that injury is still there.
Right.
But you have to be able to go. Well, I mean, it's healed now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough thing. Is that that's accurate time right there? I always had to stop in the middle of these and be like, "Hey Tango, where are we at on time?" But
we didn't start till 7?
Yeah, right at 7. So we've been at 46 minutes now.
This is why it's easier when we're together.
Yeah. See, I don't have to forgive you now for not telling us how long. I don't know. It's 7 o'clock. There it is. That's the only thing we were missing. We know how long we've been recording now. If you're watching, it's been 46 minutes. But yeah, I don't know. Forgiveness. That's what we were talking about. That's hard. I don't know. I guess we've all got to forgive somebody at some point, and it doesn't. You can look and say, well, it's harder to forgive your sister for this or your brother for that or, whatever. But everybody's thing is their thing. Whatever they're going through is the hardest thing they've ever gone through. So it's different for everybody, but it's important nonetheless. I mean, if you can't forgive, then you're not forgiven.
Right.
That's what the Bible says, right?
Well, as Christians, I mean, who are you to not forgive somebody?
Holy smokes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's you almost have to keep a very selfish attitude to not be forgiving of people. You're very self-centered, and you don't care about others at all. I don't know what the words I'm really trying to find here is, but as a Christian, you have no place not forgiving anybody for anything.
Right. Well, I've always said, if you can't forgive somebody, if you can't forgive yourself for somebody that's wronged you, or that you've done wrong and you still beat yourself up about it, that's the same as saying the sacrifice of Christ wasn't good enough.
I find it's hardest to forgive myself.
Yeah.
For things that I've done
We're
wrong.
definitely worse on ourselves.
Yeah, well, definitely harder for sure.
Yeah.
I just don't. It's not that I don't think that God has forgiven me. I struggle to forgive myself for things that I've done.
But if you know that you're forgiven by the
it should be
sacrifice of Christ, again, it should be easier. But it's the same like saying, well, I know that you suffered and died the worst death anybody's ever died.
Right.
But I'm still mad at myself. Like I can't forgive myself. I can't forgive this person who's done me wrong. And I think that's a good way to say it. Who are you to not forgive as a Christian?
Yeah, I mean, and life gets ugly. But most of the time when you break it down, when you have most of the grudges in life are fabricated situations in your head.
Man.
I would say a majority of your beefs in life are probably things that would completely go away with a nice conversation.
Yeah.
But we like to build these things up in our head.
Yeah.
And or
even with a hard conversation.
And
sometimes you got to sit down and have those.
We're more comfortable staying in the misery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it might get us a little bit of attention.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, we might get a little bit of sympathy from somebody if they hear how so-and-so did us wrong or something like that.
When you create these scenarios, to your point, in your head, where you're like, I bet they're at home right now thinking about me and this conversation that we had, and he probably hates my guts, and
They're not.
right.
But
and
They're not.
About
They
you
don't
at
care.
all.
They've moved on.
But this past weekend, I had a Giada, and she has this smartwatch, and she had misplaced it. I picked her up from spending the night with a bunch of other girls, and she was just sweating it hard. I didn't want her mom to know. She didn't know where this smartwatch was. I was
Yeah.
like, you want me to just ask your mom? Because you might have left it in your mom's car since you don't remember seeing it since then. You want me to just No, don't message her. Don't message her. I'm going to try to figure it out. Ask
Right.
Miss Kelly where it's at and all this. So, I asked Miss Kelly if, keep your eye out for a watch. Well, I went ahead and messaged Rachel, and I'm all like, is Jada's watch in your car? She's like, yeah. I'm like, how long should I keep going with her?
No.
And she's like, I don't know, but don't be too bad on her.
Yeah.
So I gave it a little while, and then finally I was like, you want me to just ask your mom? And she's like, no, she's going to be
Don't
so,
ever ask
she's
her
gonna,
mom.
she's going to be so mad at me. I'm like, you know why I'm smiling? Why? Because I already know where your watch is. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, I already asked your mom your watch is in her car. Why would you let me sit here and be worried about it? You chose.
You chose to worry.
You
Right.
chose to worry.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had the information. You could have got it too. All you had to say is, hey, Dad, what's Mom say about where's the watch at? Is it
Right.
there or not?
Right.
But instead, you just was so afraid of facing the possibility that she might be upset about you not keeping up with something that you should be keeping up with.
Yeah.
So she has a good right to be upset.
Right.
But even though you could have been cool for the last hour and a half, not worried
Oh,
about it.
man.
Like she completely let it. You know how it was when you was a kid, and you
Yeah.
knew you were gonna get in trouble for something.
Ruined
Your
your whole
mind stayed there. You could go to Chuck
Yeah.
E. Cheese, and the whole time you're like, "Man, I'm gonna get in trouble when we leave
Miserable,
here."
yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what she was letting it do to her.
Oh,
and I'm like,
bless her
"See,
heart.
you
Eating her from the
worried
inside.
all that for
Yeah.
like an hour and a half. You were so worried if you'd have just, made it straight on and faced it face first, you'd have got it over with."
Yeah.
Have to
Even
be
then-
Buffalo.
Even then if you'd have found out, oh, it's not in her car, okay, now it's time to worry.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you go
Yeah.
back and you start retracing steps, but she's a smart kid though, and her mind, I'm sure it goes a million, especially at 10 years old.
I don't know what she was
1,000,000
trying to
miles an hour.
orchestrate in her head. I don't know how she was trying to figure it out. Like she wasn't going to get anywhere unless, she's 10, she can't drive. I got to
Right,
drive her.
yeah.
So I really don't know what she was going to orchestrate in her head to get this all worked out by herself.
Oh man.
You try to teach them, if you'll just come to me first.
Yes.
Come to
Just
me.
be
Come to me and tell me the
honest,
truth.
Yeah,
Hey,
just
look, I
come
lost
tell
this.
me.
Yeah.
At least then I can, because I looked it up. I'm like, well, I got a tracker. I can tell you where the watch is at. It looks like it's at your house.
Right.
And she's like, yeah, but that could be from 2 or 3 days ago. I'm like, yeah, it could be.
Except that it tells me it's
But
15 minutes
the,
ago.
The
Right.
best way for me to find out would be to ask your mom. No.
Don't do that.
I'm like, see, if you want to do everything but the one thing that
Right.
you need to do.
Well, the other side of that coin, though, is we're talking about your daughter or your son or Mike or who's ever, your child coming to you and saying, hey, I messed up. I've done something wrong or I lost my smart. Not even something wrong, but, something like that. It's important for them to come to us and to be honest
Right.
and be open. It's important for us to not lose our minds when they come to us and tell us they lost a, $400. I don't know what a smartwatch even costs. But
You're
I
not
lost my
far off.
smartwatch or my phone or whatever, but it's so easy for us to see a dollar sign attached to that and get mad, so that's got to be a two-way street. If you want your kid to trust you enough to come to you and tell you that they've messed up, you got to be cool. Not that you would just be like, oh yeah, that's fine. I'm not worried about,
We'll just go get you another one.
yeah, you might as well lit a pile
Yeah.
of cash on fire or whatever, but but yeah, just to be reasonable about it. Not to let it slide, but be reasonable.
I think I do a pretty good job with that.
I feel like
I
you
don't.
probably do.
I don't.
No, to hear-
I'll lose my mind.
Well, I mean, to hear her talk, I'm
Right.
like some kind of hard ass.
No, I know that I lose
Yeah,
my
yeah.
mind, and I'm
Yeah.
working on it. It's so hard.
Yeah,
But I feel like I stay really cool. I'm
Yeah.
like, she didn't know me when I was in my 20s. So
Right.
to me, I'm all like,
When you
I've
really
settled
would've come
down.
unglued?
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
settled down a lot, little girl. But to her, I'm still this big, rough and tough,
Right,
like dad
yeah,
type
yeah.
guy. And I'm like, I'm a teddy bear, man. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know how much I've chilled
especially with
Yeah.
the girls.
Yeah.
Man.
Like you don't know how much stuff you get away with.
Yeah.
Like her
Yeah.
mom and even my wife be like, she was rolling her eyes and back talking this that. I'm like, I have such thick skin, it doesn't register to me
Yeah,
as disrespect. until she does it to somebody else. Like, she can talk to me, however, and I'm like,
Right.
oh, whatever.
Yeah.
That's just how we talk to each other. But if she does it to somebody else, like, hey, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You gotta watch.
Jen gets upset with me because I will absolutely, like, I'll be disrespectful to her. And I've already told him 3 times that day, hey, look, you need to watch out being disrespectful to your mom.
Yeah.
But he'll do it one more time, and I jump on it. And Jen, you don't yell at him. Don't be mad at him. No, look, I've told him. We've had this conversation already. You know, he's got to learn how to regulate that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just
I feel like
maybe it's just a difference between boys and girls. I don't know. Or, you know, boy dad.
A little bit.
girl dad.
Yeah, the boys, you just look at them and you go, hey, ding dong, you know,
Right.
whatever. And the girls, you do that and they cry, and it's a different thing. And but it's got to be, you got to be reasonable.
Yeah. So I try really hard sometimes.
It's tough, man. They
Reasonable
make it
stuff.
super hard.
Yeah, they do. It's like God programmed them to push our buttons.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
arguing with a miniature version of yourself.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it's like. You're like, man.
And she's 100% my kid.
Right.
Yeah.
100%, man. Yeah. She's funny, though. I think that's the problem. I don't think maybe I'm doing such a good job there with teaching her how to act in the world, because I think a lot of stuff's funny that a lot of other people don't think is funny.
I don't know, man. I don't think that's a bad thing.
I,
You know,
I
I've
see the
laughed.
world a little different.
You gotta laugh when you can.
Yeah, no, I've laughed at my share of funerals. You know, like you got to find your spots, and there's obviously times when it's not appropriate, but at the same time, if the environment in your house and in your family is humorous, like I got to feel like that's way less stressful.
That's the atmosphere we demand in our house. Though.
Yeah.
Our
Humor
house
is very disarming, and it can really turn anger off
Yeah.
really quickly.
Yeah, our house is very chill, very quiet, and peaceful. We try to maintain that type of household. Our house, I'm going to be happy at home, and home is going to be a happy place, or I'm not going to be there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You know, and my wife, it's very important to her. You know, the same thing for her too. Home is where we go to get away from the world.
That's your
Right.
safe place.
That's my
Yeah.
safe spot. You
Right.
know, I hate that word too.
Right,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
My safe place, but it is my safe place. It's where all my guns are.
right
So it is my
now,
safe
Kris
place.
is getting us demonetized.
Yeah. No,
It's
but
where all
that's-
my airsoft guns are.
Yeah.
Right. All the guns that I used to have. That
I lost all mine
Yeah.
when
the
the
boat
canoe
rig?
rolled over.
Boat
Yeah.
accident.
Yeah.
But we got 3 rivers here.
I had
in
the
Rome.
same
It's
kind of
terrible.
boat.
It's a magnetic river. It just sucks all over.
It does.
No, but it's I don't know. Parenting, man, it's tough. But you decide what works
Mm-hmm.
for you. Obviously, it should be within the guidelines of Scripture. But as far as what we do in our house every day, it's a little different for everybody. And it's a little different from one child to the other. Sometimes there's some that respond to some things and some that don't. Like my youngest, I feel like, and he's really little, so it's tough to tell. But I feel like I could just yell at him all day, and he'd be like,
Whatever.
all right, can we just have some donuts or whatever? And then my next oldest, like, if you look at him wrong, he's like, oh, I'm in trouble. Like, and he knows he's in trouble. So, I don't know. It's just different from kid to kid, I think. And, I don't know. We're just, honestly, all of us are just doing the best we can, right? And you end up faking it a lot of times, and we're like, well, I hope that was the right thing to do.
I remember being a kid looking at my parents when they were the age I am now,
Yeah.
and thinking they got it together.
Right.
They got a house, they got a car and
Yeah,
jobs.
yeah.
Man, my parents really got it going on.
Yeah.
And now I'm their age, and I'm like, I don't know nothing.
Yeah.
I don't have this figured out. I'm doing the best I can every single day. I'm getting up. I'm like, well, let's just do the best we can to get through the day again.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, they were doing the same thing.
They were.
I
Absolutely.
thought they were so mature and had their stuff together. And I'm
Yeah.
like, nope, they were just as dumb as I am now.
Well, I remember, like, you can think of an age.
They were tougher. They were a lot
It was
tougher.
a different world, but I mean, you think of like the age. Like I remember my parents were 36, and like you said, man, they had it together. And my dad had this job, my mom did this stuff, and they were like on it. Well, like they weren't either. They weren't either. But that's. I think that's.
I asked my
comforting
mom
on
a
some
couple of
level.
weeks ago. I'm like, how did we have eggs? She's like, only had eggs on the weekends. What do you mean? She's like, I'd buy eggs, but I'd only cook eggs for y'all on the weekends. I don't remember that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but even down to that level, like, how did we have food in the house? Because my dad was in the Air Force for a long time, and then he had to build up to where he is at the paper mill when he was actually making enough money for us to live on.
Right.
And I mean, it was rough for a while,
Ugh.
but I didn't know that then.
Yeah.
And now as dad, and I'm trying to figure out how to pay all the bills and how to put food on the table first and then pay all the bills,
Right.
make sure everything's taken care of. Yeah, it's like you said, you look at your parents when they were our age and you're like, okay, they had it together. But then did they really?
Yeah, well, I mean, my parents really didn't. I mean, my mom was a nutcase in her own right. But I had always thought, my mom was this very put together for the most part. You know what I mean? Like, she had a good handle on things. Like, no,
Yeah.
she didn't. She really didn't. She did good as a single mom.
Yeah.
To say she did the best she could, I don't know. I don't want to be like that guy, but because I really think she could have done a better job. I think we all could have done a better
Well,
job.
that's the things we all can.
But my dad, I put my dad on this pedestal.
Yeah.
My dad was like a hero to me when I was a kid. And I'm not going to take away from who my dad was as a human, but I'm all like, he didn't have it figured out at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He died at 55. I'm 12 years away from that. And I'm all like, so I knew him very well when he was the age I am now.
Yeah.
He didn't know what he
Yeah,
was doing.
no,
he was
he-
doing
Right.
the best he could, too. That's all we all do. That's all any of us do is the best we can.
Right now.
Try to make somebody smile and do the best you can again tomorrow.
Yeah, well, that's got to be comforting to us on some level to get to this point and understand that the people before us didn't have it together, which tells me the people before them didn't either. But we're
Was it a little bit easier from our grandparents' generation or parents' generation to us? Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'll be honest with you, I'm glad we didn't grow up with cell phones and
man.
camera
I wish
phones.
we didn't have them now.
I kind of do.
You know what I mean?
I'm a
I would
junkie.
much rather go back to the way the world was when I was growing up. It was
Yeah.
so much simpler. And you think about our grandparents growing up during the Depression era and stuff like that. Like, yeah, life was really, really hard.
It was really hard.
But man, did it seem like, it's really hard to speak about it because we didn't live back then. But just, you think in our today little monkey brain, they just didn't have evil coming at them at so many angles like we do now.
Man, yeah.
And so it kind of makes you like, I kind of wish that this thing would happen. It would set us all back to the Stone Age.
Right.
Because I'm like, then we'd be forced to live off the land again.
Right.
We'd be forced into living as a community again. Because until something like that happens, that's never going to return back to our normal lives again.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody lives in their own personal little bubble with their
guys should've-
orders from Amazon.
You should have had more kids. Both of you guys should have had 6 or 7 kids.
Well, like I said, I
'Cause
wanted to.
We had Bryce Bays on a couple episodes back, and Bryce has got 9 or 10 kids. He's got 6, I think, really. But when you have 6 kids, everybody doesn't get a cell phone.
Right.
You don't go out to eat 4 nights a week. They've got, I don't know how many acres they've got. They got some cows and some chickens, and that's what they do. Is like we were just talking about.
Who?
Bryce Bays. He was
Okay.
like 4 or 5 episodes back. Guy that goes to church with us. That's what they do. That's their entertainment. That's their family time. They go out and they work the garden. They work the cows. They collect the eggs. But that's
And they're probably super close
Yeah.
because they have to work so close together.
tight knit family.
Yeah.
But they're not. Even in my family, it's rare that we sit down at the table and eat dinner together. Just because, like Ayla's at jiu-jitsu right now, a lot of nights both of us would be there. Jessica's got stuff to do sometimes, and we're so busy coming and going now that it's rare that we all get in the same place at the same time. Now my sweet wife will put her phone down and then yell at me for being on mine like that. But I'm a junkie. I stay on my phone way too much.
I do too.
But yeah, but if
And my
I'm-
wife does too, so we don't say anything
Right.
to the other one
yeah,
about
there's
it.
no judgment, right? Yeah, you sending each other memes, sitting next to each other on the couch.
I mean,
Yeah, pretty
I've-
much. I'll send her TikToks while she's over playing one of those little games she likes playing.
yeah.
I've been yelled at over the top of a cell phone. You're on your cell phone too much. Okay.
Yeah.
You had to put yours down to yell at me. over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we are, though. We are. And we've gotten away from that, there's a word for it, agrarian lifestyle where you raise your own food.
But now you got to be rich enough to own the land to do
That's
it
the
with.
hang up, right? That's
On
You
the
know
flip
what I
side
mean?
of that, though, if you don't grow your own food, you can't afford to buy it in the grocery store right now.
yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of screwed either way
We're
we
in
turn
bad
at the
shape.
moment. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have enough land to have a farm,
Yeah.
and produce is getting pretty high.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Grow what you can grow in a bucket and then barter it and trade it.
Oh, man.
it's part of the plan.
We've
I'm
got-
telling you.
my
Got-
wife
hear you.
is bringing in 100 chickens
100 chickens?
100. You guys want some chickens?
No.
Just meat chickens. We're going to raise them for 12 weeks and slaughter them.
I mean, if you do the slaughtering part, yeah.
Well, that was part of the deal, was that you got to come help on slaughter day.
No.
It's 100 chickens.
I mean, I'll give you $4 for a dozen eggs, but I'm not coming over to slaughter chickens.
Man, see, this is the problem. You guys are illustrating the problem right now. Like,
No.
Well, the problem
no.
isn't me. The problem is society. So I can go buy that chicken
I have
for
I have a
$10.
legitimate reason for not coming to see blood and guts of chickens, okay? I've seen enough blood and guts. I
okay.
don't want, I got
That's
a reason.
fair.
I can get one at Sam's already rotisserie.
Yeah, I know.
Rotisserie.
Right? Still hot. in a
Still
little
hot in a little
Rotisserie.
sweat
container. Eat it in the
bag.
car on the way
Yeah.
home.
That's the best. When
Yeah,
you
I
sit there,
can't-
pull
I
it apart in the
can't do
car.
that.
I'm gonna have to go now on the
All
slaughter.
right. Here's out. So anybody out there that wants to go in on 100 chickens with us?
I go in
100
on some
chickens.
beef, but we're hiring a butcher. It's not one to do it.
Oh
like,
yeah,
I'm gonna
That's
No,
a
you don't have to hire
job,
one.
man.
cut the
I know a
cow
butcher.
up.
He knows a guy.
See,
Yeah,
we
I know
get
a guy.
that handled.
Yeah,
Just
I
need
can
a bag.
slaughter a
My wife
chicken.
loves it when we go out in public. She's like, "We're gonna run into somebody." I'm like, "Probably." She's like, "You know everybody." Or, I don't know everybody, but I know
Everybody's a
everywhere.
stretch.
Everywhere we go, I know somebody. So
But you know a butcher?
I do.
Oh, you know the beef people. You
Well,
gotta
I
have a
have
beef
somebody
guy.
that I typically buy beef from.
Okay.
Who are these beef people?
I don't know.
It's Back Acres Farm up
Thought it
in
was,
Walker County.
That'd be a club. I
They
need to
raise
be
black
in or
Angus, yeah.
something.
Right.
The beef
Beef
people.
Let me
I
in
want
on
to hang
that.
out with the beef people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can buy a quarter or a half or a whole, and it's usually like $5 or $6 a pound. But that's way better than you can get. Like you get some really top cuts of meat
Yeah.
for $5 or $6 a pound, but then you're also paying $5 or $6 a pound for ground.
I don't
So,
care. I don't care at all.
But
I'm gonna eat it all anyway.
I'm a huge fan of buying a half or a whole.
yeah.
I wouldn't even mind going in with somebody. That's what we did last year, 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Is went in with two couples from our small group. No, it was you and the meringues.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we split it 3 ways, and dude, you're gonna eat beef, a lot of beef,
Yeah.
and you're gonna love it.
Split a cow. You better with that.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay. All right.
And there's some folks around here that do that as well.
Yeah.
I think maybe Lamboy Beef does it.
I think
you
so.
can buy straight direct from them,
Yeah.
and there's a processing fee, so you have to pay a little bit to have it processed.
Yeah.
But split it up between 3 families, it's not that bad.
Do you get to go like pick the cow out like you do at the lobster tank at Red
No.
Lobster?
No.
Like, I want that cow.
that cow.
I want the one with the sweetest name because I know it's going to taste
Bessie.
the best. Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you name them though? Like the
I know.
pets?
I
We
could.
don't name
If
our
they
edible
name them,
pets,
I wouldn't be
so-
able to eat them.
Oh, y'all are really missing out.
A friend of mine, his son shows cattle, and his last one was peppermint. Oh my God, I can't.
Can you eat peppermint though? After?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
They
I
have
could
they
eat
have
peppermint 'cause
shows.
I
I
Like,
could
hey,
eat
look at
peppermint.
my fancy cow.
yeah.
And then after the cows won the ribbon, they eat it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how that works?
I mean, he'll show it for an entire season, and then they'll
Yeah.
slaughter it.
Yeah, you got to maximize your profit on
Yeah.
this cow.
Like I really think cows are groovy. You know, I'd like to have enough land to have cows. They're very
A
common.
miniature Shetland. You know, like
I don't know
Highland
about like
cow,
a cow
the-
show.
The fluffy cow.
That
Yeah,
sounds
no,
like a
I'm-
good
I'm
ways
not.
to go for a cow.
Don't pet the fluffy
Yeah.
cows though.
Don't pet the fluffy ones.
No,
Makes
not
them harder to eat
the
when you pet them,
buffaloes.
right?
You don't want to pet the buffaloes.
Oh, the
The fluffy cows?
Yeah, the fluffy
yeah,
cows. That's
the
what they
ones
call them in
have
Montana.
Like
Okay.
Yellowstone.
Yeah, Yellowstone. They have signs that says please don't pet the fluffy cows.
Yeah, they probably mess you up a
Terrible
little
idea.
bit.
People are
They'll kill
doing
you.
it though. You keep seeing these videos.
Yeah.
People going up to cows, right? It's a park, right?
Yeah,
these
yeah,
gotta
it's a
be
park.
Tame animals. This is a petting zoo.
This
It's
bear-
wild. That is a wild animal.
7,000
Have you ever
pound
watched
buffalo.
Yogi? He just wants
He's
a
a-
picnic
Yeah, he's
basket.
cool.
Hey, boo-boo.
He's good. Just run
Yeah.
from the bees or whatever, and he's all right. Bees. We got bees not too long ago.
Did you get bees?
We got
That's
bees.
fantastic.
Bees are fun.
Let me know when you've got honey.
It's gonna be a while.
I'll trade you.
Okay.
I'll give you
Beef for-
the government screen paper for your honey.
Y'all are
take
really
it.
ultimizing your piece of land there.
We're
huh?
trying to, man. We're trying. We don't even have a whole acre, but like we're looking at bringing in some. We had some goats at one point before. We're looking at bringing some goats back in, and
I'll try some
These
goat
chickens.
now. I wouldn't mind
Goat
trying.
is-
We can try
I have
some
heard goat's a great meal.
goat is it's not like I don't know. People say their deer is gamey, but it's because they didn't process it right. But it's not unlike deer as far as the meat goes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not unlike beef either. It's I don't know. I always thought it was like a good mix between like a deer and a cow, like the
Deer meat totally depends on who is making the
100%.
deer meat.
Right.
Yeah.
I've had deer meat that I could eat till I got sick, and there's some that I'm like,
Well, you just people don't treat it right. They don't butcher it right, and then it ends up being gamey, and that's what people complain about. But if you do it right, takes care of itself. You don't get the gamey flavor. Squirrel, on the other hand, I think it's just going to be gamey.
It is.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything you do. I mean,
you can smoke a squirrel for like 6 days.
Ooh, I hadn't thought about smoking squirrel.
We smoked a squirrel or two.
Yeah. I mean, I smoked one with a shotgun one time, but I didn't put it on the smoker.
Gotta be careful though, man. You bite it in one of those pellets.
Yeah, you break a tooth.
You're done, dude.
I've only got one left.
Yeah, one tooth. Okay, all right. That's
One more. That's not really what I meant.
I got you.
Of course.
I'm afraid to ask. So anyway, moving right along. What? Where we at on time, Tango? You took the clock away.
I apologize.
8:10.
We're at,
8:10.
an hour 10.
Okay.
Hour 10. You guys got anything fun you want to talk about? We're gonna wrap it up right here.
Let's talk about something funny. What you got there, funny man?
You're the funny guy.
I'm the funny guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're the clownfish.
Here we go. You're working on a stand-up routine, aren't you?
I was.
Well, how's it going?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
They canceled the show
Oh.
that I was preparing for. I did have like I was taking notes and I was really trying to get ready for a routine, and they still might do something. Who knows? But
We
I
can
don't.
get you booked somewhere.
Yeah,
I think you can do it, man.
they had one here in town not too long ago.
Yeah.
Somewhere downtown.
One of these joints here on Broad Street.
Yeah, downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah.
So, like, are you still? Is that still a goal
it's
for
it's
you?
something I've been interested in a long time.
Yeah, I know you've talked about it.
I like dad to tell dad jokes. I collect them. I put
Well, it's
them
like
in a database.
You can't be like, "Hey, you're working on a stand-up routine. Okay, be funny."
No. I
Yeah,
didn't mean
just-
like,
It don't work
that's
like
It's
the
that.
like
worst
telling a
thing, right?
clownfish to be funny. They can't be
Right.
funny either.
Somebody's
You know,
like,
on the
say
spot.
something funny. Yeah,
Build a
never works.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah, build a
Yeah.
house.
But you are, though. You're working on the stand-up thing.
I was. That was the plan for a
I
little
got
while.
you.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
So,
with
Joey,
it.
if you're still listening, let's have this talent show so Kris can do a stand-up routine.
It was open mic talent
Open
show.
mic,
Yeah,
so it
man.
is?
Talent. I mean,
Okay,
that just
yeah.
made me feel very unprofessional. I ain't going to a talent show.
Open mic. That's
Uh,
right. Open mic night.
Just
I'm
an
going to the
opportunity to
community
make people
center.
laugh. That's all we
Gonna
want.
juggle.
Just let's make people laugh.
Can you juggle?
Nah.
Might make you.
It's
think.
funny to watch, though.
It really depends. I
Yeah.
can juggle two things, but is that juggling? Scooter
know,
says
what's-
it's not juggling because me and
think
Scooter
you have to have
conversation lately.
Gotta be.
'Cause I can do two, but you got to have three.
Uh-huh.
Two's just throwing one thing in the air. and-
Right.
It
You
know
takes-
what I
catch
mean?
throwing it up and catching it.
Juggling
You gotta
is
have
3
three.
minimum.
Okay, well then I can't juggle.
I can't juggle either.
Apparently, I thought
Sometimes
all
I
this
can't even
time,
juggle
thought,
life. So I'm not going to try juggling.
Juggle life. Who can juggle life? Just give me the golf balls or whatever, and I'll try to do 3. Juggling life.
You can do it.
No, I can't. I can't.
You can't do
juggle.
it?
No. I can juggle 2, but apparently that's not juggling.
Apparently not, unless you do
Change
it
the
with one
rules.
hand. If you do
Yeah,
it
if
with
you do it with one hand, that's juggling.
that's juggling.
You got to be
So I
able to
think
throw
if
it, catch it, throw
If you
it.
gave me a minute, I could probably
Let's
juggle.
probably sort that out.
You could have the illusion of juggling because if you just throw and catch the same ball and you keep the other one palmed,
It's like the Will Ferrell in the office when he does the pretend juggling
Yeah.
routine.
Yeah.
With no balls.
No
Yeah,
balls.
I can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can do that all day. That's easy.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Never miss. Same as like basketball, air guitar. You know, never miss a
I'm
note.
playing awesome air guitar and air drums in the Jeep
best. Yeah.
all
yeah.
day long. People pull up beside me.
Boxing, you can, shadow boxing. Great at it. I'm the best.
I've shatterboxed before.
Shatterbox?
Yeah, that's where you're shadow boxing. You punch something you're not supposed to.
Oh.
Yeah, you break mom's things and she gets mad.
Whew. Yeah, I guess so. Punching things.
Better than
Well,
punching people.
I mean, it is. But man, in my 13 years in public school, Tango, you can attest to this. Not that you ever did it. See a kid walking down the hallway at school with a cast on his hand. Every time, without fail.
Punch the
What'd you do? Got
Punch the
mad.
wall.
Got mad, punched the wall. Why'd you do that? Well, it was better than punching him or punching her. Like,
No, I wouldn't.
People are
either.
softer,
No.
actually.
Punching them would have hurt your hand way less.
Relatively soft and
Yeah,
squishy.
people are
Yeah.
very soft. Punch them one
People
time.
are way more squishy than a brick wall.
Oh, man. Yeah. Or like what happened most of the time was, and I don't know how the kid always found the stud. Every time they punched through drywall.
Well, have you never spent any time punching walls yourself?
No.
You always find a stud.
I guess so. I've never punched a wall before.
That's the stud finder
I know.
101.
That is stud finding 101.
Is
Find
get
the
pissed.
stud.
Found the
Ow.
stud.
Break your hand.
I know somebody else who broke his hand doing that and punched a wall, but it was a concrete block wall, and
Why?
you're
though?
not going to win.
No, I feel like if I walked over there, that wall is sheetrock over there, and I got I felt pretty good about where the studs were. I can find them based on what's hung on the wall.
If you measure out 16-inch centers, like, you're not really that mad then.
Yeah, no. That's what
That's my last forethought.
there he is.
You wanted to
Now
kill
it's
the wall.
Like,
I've been
gonna
working
make
up to
sure
this point.
I am getting mad right here.
Man, no, I've been working up to this point. We got the funny out of you.
Yep.
That's what we were going for. This is all a big setup. I don't know if you were
Okay.
aware or not, but we drug it out. That's a good point, though. You're not that mad if you're so calculated. But I don't know. I just never thought, if I punch that wall, it won't be the stud. I always just assumed that I'd punch the stud and break my arm.
I don't think you would do it if you hit this wall, though.
No, this is not. And people ask me all the time, this is not a Google background.
This is
It's an
that that fake wallpaper that looks like brick. This is really nice.
cheesy stuff they used to put on the underpinning of the trailers back in
Yeah,
the day.
yeah, that's what that is. This is really nice.
This is 1850 brick. It survived the Sherman fire of 1865. Real deal. That one didn't. That's 1890 brick over there.
Huh.
But
A lot of history in this building.
sure enough, it's burned down 3 times. But here we are, nonetheless,
Still standing.
still standing, home of Burnham Podcast and Rome Reformed Church.
Mhm.
We love it. We're big fans. So, all right, when's your stand-up thing? Go ahead and give us a date. No,
I don't know.
Okay, we gotta make it happen.
We can film a stand-up special. We got it.
Who's
That's
gonna,
it.
Who's gonna laugh?
That's it.
Oh,
Who's gonna laugh?
we got a laugh track. We'll make
We'll
it
laugh
happen.
tracks, baby.
Can't do a
got laugh
laugh
tracks?
track. This isn't a sitcom.
It could be.
We'll
We
give
can
you an
film a
earpiece
sitcom.
and you'll hear them
All the
laughing in your ear.
comedians that I respect talk
Yeah.
smack about people that were doing online
Using-
comedy
yeah.
shows.
Yeah.
So
Thing
I
during COVID.
automatically can't do that.
Yeah.
We'll
All
be
right.
like,
We'll get you. We'll get
Behind
you
the
an audience.
Walmart?
We'll just make it happen in here. You'll do one. I'll put 5 minutes together and open up for you.
Well, I mean, we could do a comedy club in here.
We could. That'd be a good fundraiser, wouldn't it?
Are we
It
gonna
will be
raise
tight
money?
quarters.
Look, Tango's got wheels turning back there. He's got this thing figured out already.
I was just counting chairs. We could have about 15 people come to the show.
I don't know. We got a pile of them. We got 40, 50 chairs in here. We could,
A pile of chairs for Kris Pyle.
yeah, for sure.
Piles of smiles.
Piles of smiles.
Yes. Or smiles of piles.
All right. Let's do it. Piles of smiles. You want to put a few minutes together?
I mean, I don't think it'd be that great, but
It doesn't matter. We'll just open up for.
just don't let
Kris.
people bring in tomatoes or eggs, you know?
Well, if we're awful though before him,
That's gonna make him-
he'll
yeah.
actually be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be funny.
I'll just
anyway.
reach in the database
Yeah.
and pull out some of those
But they'll really
parent jokes.
appreciate how funny you
Yeah.
are if we go out there and stink it up.
I should probably go do something somewhere else and not cater a show. Hold to my ever doing a show self. It don't really deserve my own show.
That's not the point.
Yeah.
This is the day and age. We don't have to wait for stardom.
yeah, you don't
we
have
just
to-
create our own opportunities. That's what we're doing right
It could
here.
be a content.
Okay.
creator.
If anybody's still watching this,
All right. Cool.
yeah, let's make it happen.
I remember y'all when I get famous. I remember him because he's gonna be the one doing all the hard work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's gonna be back there pushing. The
Tango does all the
buttons.
work. We
He
just get up here and
does.
talk, yak it up.
That's for the best. Though.
I feel pretty cool having my own, or you have your own young Jamie.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
at our disposal. I feel like we should ask him to look something up before we. You did earlier though, didn't you?
I
did.
did. I did the Al Pacino.
Yeah,
thing.
we were like
What?
way
Oh.
way out in the weeds at that point in the program. But I feel like now is probably a good time to
You wanna
wrap this
stop?
up.
You want to
Yeah.
go home?
I mean,
Tango, you can take your ball.
I
and
feel
go
like if
home.
we did this more, we'd get a little better at it too.
I think so. I think maybe we shouldn't have done this live for the first time. But that's
Maybe a
all
little
right.
added pressure for being
a
live.
little bit.
You know what? I've just completely tuned out the TV over there and just look at you
Yeah, I
guys.
stopped looking at it a
Yeah.
long time. The first few minutes was weird, but I quit kind of looking at it.
Well, you're in the best seat because you get your front and center.
Yeah.
They saw this side of my face for an hour and a half,
So next time
and this side of his.
we'll have
face.
again.
multiple cameras,
Whoa.
and everybody gets their.
It's gonna get more and more fancy here.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Doing it big time, man.
Moss.
Coyote Media is coming up. So if you guys are out there and you want to start a podcast, turns out it's super easy when you get somebody else to push the buttons for you. All you got to do is sit down in front of the mic and rock and roll.
That's pretty dope.
But Coyote Media, hit them up on. You guys are on the Facebook.
Yeah. Facebook, Instagram, website is under construction at the moment.
She's trying to
but
die.
When you listen to this episode 20 years from now, it won't be under construction anymore. You'll be able to just go there, Coyote Media. But
Because it'll still be on the web.
On
Will
the
be.
interwebs.
Yep. Everything. Once you
podcasts
put it
are
up, it's there.
forever, for life. Anyway, thank you guys for doing this. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
I've had a good time.
Been good.
We'll do it again.
Yep.
and it'll be better next time. Thank you guys for watching. If you're still watching, in fact, we chased some rabbits and got into some weeds, but I think overall not a bad first live episode. But thank you guys for watching. God bless you. We love you. See you next time.